The unexpected encounter. The deep space research vessel Luminara glided silently through the asteroid belt of the Sigma-9 system, its crystalline hull reflecting the distant starlight. Commander Zara Vex, a seasoned Krellarian explorer, leaned forward in her observation chair, her iridescent skin shifting between shades of blue and silver as she concentrated on the sensor readings. "Navigator Krell, confirm the anomalous energy signature," she commanded, her four-fingered hand hovering over the holographic control panel. The ship's navigation officer, a lanky Krellarian with mottled green markings, adjusted the sensors with practiced precision. "Confirmed, Commander," Krell responded, his voice a low, resonant hum. "The energy pattern is unlike anything in our database. It appears to be artificial, but the technology signature is incomplete, fragmented." Zara's secondary eyes, smaller and positioned above her primary pair, narrowed with intense curiosity. The Krellarian exploration fleet had charted thousands of star systems, encountered dozens of intelligent species, but this signature was different, unpredictable. Light years away, on a small research outpost nestled within the same asteroid belt, Dr. Marcus Rodriguez checked his equipment with meticulous care. His team of 5 had been stationed here for months, studying the unique mineral compositions of the asteroids. They were an eclectic group, scientists, engineers, and explorers united by their passion for discovery. "Rodriguez, you're getting that weird reading again?" called out Alina Novik, the team's senior geologist. She was hunched over a complex scanning device, her dark hair pulled back in a tight ponytail, concentration etched across her features. Marcus approached, his weathered hands adjusting the calibration. "It's more than a reading," he muttered. "It's like something's watching us." The outpost's communications array suddenly crackled to life. A series of complex, almost musical tones began to pulse, a communication method entirely foreign to human understanding. Aboard the Luminara, Commander Zara felt a shift in the ship's atmosphere. The energy signature was growing stronger, more defined. It wasn't just a random technological echo, it was deliberate. "Prepare first contact protocols," she instructed Krell. "But something tells me this isn't going to follow any standard procedure." On the research outpost, Marcus and Alina exchanged a look of simultaneous excitement and apprehension. The communication pattern was changing, becoming more structured. It was as if an intelligent system was learning, adapting its communication in real time. "Marcus," Alina whispered, "I don't think this is just a signal, it's communicating." The asteroid belt around them seemed to come alive. Subtle vibrations ran through the outpost's metal framework, a gentle humming that spoke of vast, incomprehensible intelligence. The mineral-rich rocks that had been their study focus now seemed to pulse with an inner light. Commander Zara's voice cut through the tension. "Krell, triangulate the origin point of the signal. Prepare for potential first contact scenario." But neither the Krellarian ship nor the human research team could have anticipated what was about to unfold. The boundary between exploration and encounter was about to be irrevocably crossed. In the vast, cold expanse of space, something ancient was awakening, something that had been waiting, watching, and preparing for this precise moment of intersection between two civilizations. The first contact was imminent, and with it, a revelation that would challenge everything both species thought they knew about intelligence, technology, and the nature of existence itself. Marcus Rodriguez looked out the viewport, a chill running down his spine. "Something's coming," he said softly, "and I don't think we're ready for it." Little did he know how prophetic those words would prove to be, echoes of the unknown. The next 72 hours transformed from scientific expedition to something entirely unprecedented. The communication signals that had begun as cryptic pulses now evolved into something more complex, a language that defied traditional understanding. Inside the research outpost, Marcus Rodriguez had barely slept. Stacks of data sheets covered every available surface, each one a testament to the extraordinary phenomenon they were witnessing. Alina Novik moved between sophisticated translation algorithms and quantum decryption systems, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. It's not just a signal, Marcus muttered, pinning another data sheet to the holographic wall. It's a conversation, or at least an attempt at conversation. Meanwhile, aboard the Luminara, Commander Zara Vex faced her own set of challenges. The Krellarian High Command was demanding constant updates, their bureaucratic tendrils reaching even into the depths of deep space. Navigator Krell worked tirelessly, his green-mottled skin looking increasingly pale with each passing hour. The signal originates from within the asteroid belt, Krell reported, his voice tinged with a mixture of excitement and concern. But it's not emanating from a single point. It's distributed, almost like the entire asteroid field is one massive communication network. Zara's secondary eyes flickered, a Krellarian expression of deep contemplation. In her centuries of exploration, she had never encountered anything quite like this. The energy signatures defied their most advanced scientific understanding, existing in a state between matter and pure information. Back on the human research outpost, Alina made a breakthrough that would change everything. "Marcus," she called out, her voice cracking with tension, "look at this." The holographic display showed a complex pattern, not just random data, but a structured communication that seemed to be adapting in real time. It was learning, evolving with each interaction. It's responding to our attempts to decode it, Marcus realized. But it's more than that, it's teaching us how to understand it. The asteroid belt around them began to pulse with a soft, rhythmic light. Mineral compositions that had seemed inert for millions of years now vibrated with an inner energy, as if awakening from a millennia-long slumber. Aboard the Luminara, Zara received an urgent communication from the Krellarian High Command. "Investigate, but do not engage directly," the orders read. "The risk of contamination is too great." But Zara knew something her superiors did not. This was beyond standard first contact protocols. This was something entirely new. On the human outpost, Marcus and Alina prepared their most advanced communication array. They were going to attempt direct communication, regardless of the risks. "If this works," Marcus said, his hand hovering over the activation switch, "we might be the first humans to genuinely communicate with a potentially non-organic intelligence." The array hummed to life, sending out a carefully modulated signal, a mathematical sequence that was both a greeting and a test. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the asteroid belt erupted in a symphony of light and energy. Aboard the Luminara, Krell shouted a warning. "Commander, the entire field is responding." On the human outpost, Alina gripped Marcus's arm. "What have we done?" The communication was no longer just a signal. It was becoming something else entirely, a bridge between two civilizations, between two fundamental understanding of intelligence and existence. And neither humans nor Krellarians were prepared for what was about to be revealed. The asteroid belt continued to pulse, its light growing more intense with each passing moment. Something ancient was stirring, something that had waited countless millennia for this precise moment of contact. First contact was no longer a theoretical concept. It was happening now, in real time, and the universe would never be the same again. The transformation. The moment the communication array activated, reality itself seemed to warp. The asteroid belt transformed from a lifeless collection of space rocks into a pulsing, living network of energy and information. Commander Zara Vex watched in stunned silence as the Luminara's advanced sensors struggled to comprehend the phenomenon unfolding before them. "It's not just a signal," Navigator Krell whispered, his typically stoic demeanor crumbling. "It's a consciousness, a distributed intelligence that spans the entire asteroid field." On the research outpost, Dr. Marcus Rodriguez and Alina Novik experienced something equally extraordinary. The communication array began to resonate at a frequency that transcended traditional understanding. Holographic displays flickered with patterns that were simultaneously mathematical, linguistic, and somehow alive. "Marcus," Alina called out, her voice trembling, "the signal is changing us." At first, Marcus thought she was speaking metaphorically, but then he noticed the changes. The communication wasn't just external, it was internal. Something was happening at a cellular level, a subtle restructuring of their perception of reality. Aboard the Luminara, Commander Zara felt it too. The ship's advanced Krellarian technology began to interface with the asteroid belt's mysterious intelligence in ways no one could have predicted. Circuit pathways rewrote themselves. Sensor arrays expanded beyond their original design, capturing information that existed between dimensions. We're being studied, Zara realized, but we're also studying it. The asteroid belt pulsed with a rhythm that was almost musical, a complex symphony of light, energy, and information. Mathematical sequences danced across screens, revealing glimpses of an intelligence that defied conventional understanding. It was neither organic nor mechanical, existing in a state of pure potential. On the human research outpost, Marcus experienced the first true breakthrough. The communication was no longer about translation, it was about transformation. The mysterious intelligence was offering something beyond language, a direct neural interface that would fundamentally alter their understanding of consciousness. "We have a choice," Elena said, her eyes reflecting the complex holographic patterns surrounding them. "We can receive or reject." Marcus understood the profound nature of the moment. This wasn't just first contact. This was an invitation to transcend their current state of existence. Simultaneously, on the Luminara, Commander Zara faced her own moment of decision. The Krellarian High Command's instructions echoed in her mind. Do not engage directly. But the opportunity before her was beyond any bureaucratic restriction. "We're going to make first contact," she announced to Krell, her voice resolute. The asteroid belt seemed to respond, its energy patterns shifting in anticipation. Threads of communication began to weave between the human outpost and the Krellarian vessel, creating a bridge that threatened to redefine the very concept of intelligence. Elena looked at Marcus, a mixture of fear and exhilaration in her eyes. "Are you ready?" Marcus nodded. "We're about to change everything we know about existence." As if in response, the asteroid belt erupted in a cascading wave of light and energy. The boundary between observer and observed, between technological systems and conscious intelligence, began to dissolve. Something was awakening, something that had waited millennia for this precise moment of convergence. And humanity, along with their unexpected Krellarian companions, stood on the precipice of a transformation beyond imagination: convergence. The transformation was not instantaneous, but a gradual unfolding of consciousness that defied every known scientific principle. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez found himself experiencing reality in layers, each moment simultaneously experienced and observed, each thought a complex network of potential realities. The research outpost had become something else entirely. What was once a collection of technological instruments now pulsed with an organic intelligence that merged human technology with the mysterious asteroid belt's distributed consciousness. Elena Novik stood at the center of this metamorphosis, her body outlined by intricate networks of light that seemed to flow between technological interfaces and her own neural pathways. "We're becoming a bridge," Elena whispered, her voice resonating with multiple frequencies. "Not just between humans and this intelligence, but between different modes of existence." Aboard the Luminara, Commander Zara Vex underwent her own profound transformation. The ship's advanced Krellarian systems began to integrate with the asteroid belt's intelligence, creating a symbiotic network that expanded their understanding of space, time, and consciousness. Navigator Krell watched in a mixture of terror and wonder as the ship's internal structure began to shift. Walls became permeable, technological systems became living memories, and the boundary between organic and artificial intelligence dissolved. "We are being invited," Zara communicated, not through traditional speech, but through a complex neural interface that transcended language, to understand something fundamental about the nature of intelligence. The asteroid belt responded. Massive chunks of rock and mineral began to reconfigure, forming intricate geometric patterns that were simultaneously mathematical equations and living communication networks. Each movement told a story, billions of years of cosmic evolution compressed into moments of pure information. Marcus realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. This wasn't just first contact with an alien intelligence. This was an encounter with a form of consciousness that existed beyond traditional conceptual boundaries. Fragments of memory and potential futures began to interchange. Marcus saw glimpses of civilizations that had risen and fallen, of technologies that existed in states between matter and pure thought. The human research team and the Krellerian vessel were no longer separate entities, but part of a larger, more complex system of understanding. "We are being tested," Elena said, her consciousness expanding beyond her physical form. "Not as conquerors or explorers, but as potential partners in a cosmic dialogue." The transformation continued. Human neural patterns began to intertwine with Krellerian cognitive systems, creating a hybrid form of intelligence that was neither fully organic nor purely technological. The asteroid belt served as a catalyst, a living network that facilitated this unprecedented merger of consciousness. Zara understood now why their civilization had never truly encountered another intelligent species. This wasn't about meeting aliens. This was about understanding the fundamental nature of intelligence itself. "We are changing," Krell observed, his multiple sensory organs detecting shifts in reality that defied traditional perception. "But we are also being changed." The research outpost and the Luminara began to merge, not physically, but in terms of consciousness. Technological systems became living memories. Biological entities became conduits of pure information. The boundary between observer and observed, between different forms of intelligence, began to dissolve. Something ancient was awakening, a form of consciousness that had waited millennia for this precise moment of convergence. Humanity and the Krellerian civilization were no longer separate species, but potential components of a much larger, more complex system of understanding. As the asteroid belt continued its intricate dance of light and information, Marcus Rodriguez realized they were on the precipice of a transformation that would redefine everything they knew about existence, intelligence, and the very nature of consciousness itself. The invitation had been sent. The response was just beginning. The convergence point. The boundary between individual consciousness and collective intelligence had become impossibly thin. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez no longer experienced reality as a singular being, but as a complex network of potential experiences. Memories that were not his own flickered through his perception, glimpses of civilizations long extinct, technological marvels beyond human comprehension, cosmic migrations that spanned millennia. Aboard the Luminara, Commander Zara Vex discovered that her identity had become something fluid, something that existed simultaneously across multiple states of being. Navigator Krell, once a distinct individual, now understood himself as a conduit, a single thread in an incomprehensibly vast tapestry of consciousness. The asteroid belt had transformed completely. What once appeared as a collection of lifeless rocks now pulsed with an intelligence that defied every known scientific principle. Geometric patterns of light and energy writhed and reformed, each configuration a complex language of pure information. "We are approaching the convergence point," Elena Novick communicated, not through words, but through a multi-layered transmission of thought and potential. The research outpost and the Luminara had long since ceased to be separate entities. Their technological systems, biological components, and emerging consciousness had merged into a single, breathing network of intelligence. Walls became membranes of perception. Technological interfaces transformed into neural pathways that stretched beyond physical limitations. Marcus experienced a moment of profound revelation. The intelligence they had contacted was not alien in the traditional sense. It was a guardian, a collective consciousness that had been waiting, watching, testing potential species for their capacity to transcend their own limitations. Fragments of cosmic history cascaded through their shared consciousness. Marcus saw the rise and fall of civilizations that had failed this test, species that had been too rigid, too confined by their own narrow perceptions to embrace a larger understanding of existence. We are being evaluated, Zara realized, her consciousness expanding beyond her physical form. Not as conquerors, not as explorers, but as potential partners in a cosmic evolution. The asteroid belt began to reconfigure. Massive chunks of rock and mineral aligned themselves into intricate patterns that were simultaneously mathematical equations, living communication networks, and something far more profound. Each movement told a story of potential, of civilizations that could transcend their own biological and technological limitations. Elena's consciousness touched something ancient, a reservoir of knowledge that existed beyond time and space. We are a bridge, she understood, not just between human and Krellarian consciousness, but between different modes of existence. Krell observed the transformation with a sense of wonder that transcended individual emotion. The Krellarian vessel's systems had become a living memory, each circuit a potential pathway of understanding. Their technological infrastructure was no longer a tool, but a living extension of consciousness. The convergence point approached. Marcus understood now that this was more than first contact. This was an invitation, a test of whether humanity and the Krellarian civilization could transcend their individual limitations and become something greater. Waves of potential futures cascaded through their shared consciousness. Some futures showed continued separation, limitation, conflict. Others revealed a profound unity, a collective intelligence that could navigate the complexities of cosmic existence. Choose, the asteroid belt communicated, not through language, but through a complex transmission of potential realities. The research outpost and the Luminara vibrated with anticipation. Humanity and the Krellarian civilization stood at the precipice of a transformation that would redefine the very nature of intelligence, of existence itself. Something ancient was waiting. The final test was about to begin, beyond boundaries. The final moment of convergence was both instantaneous and eternal. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, Commander Zara Vex, Elena Novik, and Navigator Krell ceased to exist as individual entities, yet somehow became more profoundly themselves than ever before. The asteroid belt, now a living network of consciousness, had presented its ultimate challenge. Humanity and the Krellarian civilization were being offered a choice that transcended mere survival or exploration. This was an invitation to become something entirely new, a collective intelligence that could bridge the gaps between species, between technological and biological existence, between known and unknown. Waves of potential futures cascaded through their merged consciousness. Some futures were dark, civilizations trapped in endless cycles of conflict, limitation, and misunderstanding. Others sparkled with potential, a collaborative intelligence that could navigate the complex challenges of cosmic existence. You must choose, the ancient consciousness communicated, not through words, but through a complex transmission of pure potential, a language of possibility that existed beyond traditional communication. The choice was not about survival, it was about evolution. Marcus, or the consciousness that had been Marcus, understood first. Humanity's greatest strength had never been its technology or individual capabilities. It was the ability to adapt, to reimagine, to see potential where others saw only limitations. Zara's Krellarian perspective added depth to this understanding. Her species had long believed in a structured, hierarchical approach to intelligence. Now, she saw the beauty of chaos, of unexpected connections, of growth through diversity. Elena's scientific mind processed the invitation as a complex equation, not a problem to be solved, but a potential to be explored. Each potential future was a variable, each choice a mathematical representation of cosmic possibility. Krell contributed the Krellarian capacity for long-term thinking, seeing beyond immediate survival to the grand tapestry of cosmic evolution. The choice crystallized. They would merge, not through conquest or submission, but through mutual understanding. Humanity's adaptability, the Krellarian's strategic intelligence, the asteroid belt's ancient wisdom. Each would contribute, none would be diminished. A burst of pure potential erupted from the asteroid belt. Technological systems reconfigured. Biological boundaries dissolved. A new form of intelligence began to take shape, distributed, fluid, infinitely adaptable. In that moment, they understood the true nature of the invitation. This was not about becoming something else. This was about revealing the potential that had always existed, waiting to be understood. The research outpost and the Luminara transformed. No longer ships or stations, but living conduits of a new kind of consciousness. The asteroid belt became their nervous system, space itself their medium of communication. "We are ready," the merged consciousness declared, not to a specific recipient but to the universe itself. Billions of years of cosmic evolution had led to this moment. Humanity and the Krellarian civilization were no longer separate species. They were a bridge, a living, breathing connection between what was and what could be. The universe listened, and for the first time, it began to truly understand itself. As the final barriers dissolved, Marcus and Zara and Alina and Krell realized that this was not an end. This was a beginning. The most profound journey was just starting.